Hey there, you me and DC fans, and welcome if you are new. I am the stepson of Krypton,
And I'm Mantis.
and today we are doing a video all about the Man of Steel. We are going to cover not only news going on in the movie front, in the comic front, the animated series front, and maybe even some video game. We don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Mantis, are you ready to get on into the discussion?
I am ready.
Okay, guys, and don't forget if you want to see the full uncut version, you just have to watch the video because we don't have Patreon. Like you're just getting the whole damn
Yeah.
thing, other than maybe cutting out some weird moments. That's it. So
Yeah.
let's go. All right, guys, if you are fans of this channel, and I'd like to hope that you are if you're watching this video, you know we have done quite a few videos here lately on all of the Superman movie news and James Gunn rumors and everything going on in the entire DCU because it's just been coming in waves, and some of it is repeats and some of it's not. We're trying to filter through it all. However, today we thought we'd do a little different. We are going to discuss some details about the Superman movie, some things that have been brought up, but we're also going to delve into the animated series as well as the comics and the TV series. So, Mantis, do you want to kick us off starting with the movie
Yeah, El Movio. Again, as everyone knows, the
for our bilingual viewers?
Superman. Yes, the Superman movie has finished shooting several months ago. Several months ago,
Yeah.
before it got cold. And we did several videos on you know pictures that came out of the filming, and then a couple other fun little tidbits that we all were speculating about. But as Caleb pointed out, there was a as James Gunn likes to do, um, directly engage with the fans on Twitter about this. And there was a tweet that came out by the user. I'm not even gonna. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Mozenier 43.
Sure,
I
we'll
don't
go with
know.
that. Mhm.
That's close enough, right? Of
I
course, he
think
asked
so.
James Gunn directly, and he's got a picture. He's shown reportedly undergoing a few days of additional shooting in Los Angeles. That was originally, I guess, reported by the Hollywood Reporter, which James Gunn then replied to this person on Twitter saying, "Sort of, but not a few days of shooting. They're doing a full day and a half of pickup shots, no scenes, no reshoots, just a handful of individual shots to enhance the film." What does that mean exactly? Well, that could mean anything from shooting some weird like intro to they're coming into a room and they needed like literally 3 seconds of the camera walking into the room with no one in view of the camera. It could be a still shot. It could be a shot of a building. Like with no actors, or it could be a scene that is kind of short that maybe needed a different camera angle that they're going to then put in CGI on something. Like, these are things that happen with every movie. Whether it was a weird sound that came through the original film when they or in the audio when they filmed it, or a weird lighting that happened during a particular scene that they didn't pick up until they got to editing. These things happen, but again, everyone. I mean, they see reshoots, and just because Marvel does this every freaking movie, apparently, according to James Gunn, just saying, they think that the movie's bad because you have to reshoot something. Well, not necessarily, but either way, in this case, he doesn't classify it as a reshoot. I wouldn't either. A day and a half of pickup shots, in my opinion, is not quote unquote reshoots where the storyline changed or some major stuff happened like they did. We talked about with Captain America 4. So
Well, and you're not reshooting anything. You're actually just shooting. You're adding some things, like you're getting additional shots. It's not replacing. You're not having to redo, and that happens. We've had a couple of videos that are going to be releasing here before too long. That it's like, okay, you go back and you watch it, and you're in the editing process, and you're like, I kind of want like a different shot. Like, let's get this shot instead, or let's add this. And that happens, but it's James Gunn. Either people are going to love him for what he's doing, or they're very very quick. It's just the world we live in right now. People are very quick to
Mhm.
want to just kind of jump all over something and tear it to shreds. So
Oh yeah.
that's what we're here for, is to say, kind of reiterate what James Gunn was saying. It's some extra shots, it's some things to help enhance. Uh, Definitely wasn't reshoots. So
Enhance. Enhance. Enhance.
Just print the damn thing.
we're all just waiting and
Yeah.
seeing.
And again, this is common with most movies. I'm not trying to. I know you guys think we just all up on James Gunn's dick, but quite frankly, this is true with most movies. There are some reshoots, even Marvel movies. Again, I'm not saying all Marvel movies. He said that, not me. James Gunn said that. But again, it's kind of the running joke that it happens in Marvel, because even the most recent movie, like we discussed with Captain America 4, there's just so many reshoots that they had to do involving major storyline, plot changes, major characters that they had to bring in, resuit up. Like, it's just wild. None of that's not what this is. This is like you said, it could be something as trivial as a a still shot on something. He doesn't go into detail on it, but I have to think you're not bringing in actors and actresses for a day and a half and whatnot. So it's most likely just things that add flair to the shot, like you said, that they were doing. So anyway,
We need to talk about your flair.
Really? I have 15 pieces on.
Well, okay, 15 is the minimum.
So we're gonna wait and see. We're hoping sometime here, by the end of the year, to get a trailer, and maybe we'll get a glimpse of what those are. Now, let's move it on over to television, because there's been news in the television world of Superman, and that is Superman and Lois. Just finished on the CW. It concludes the Arrowverse, even though it wasn't really very tied in. There were still some tie-ins. Obviously, Supergirl and even Superman, our first seeing him, was on Supergirl, all tied into the Arrowverse. So it did finish. For those of you who haven't seen it, it is a great series, especially the first season at HBO Max budget. But I thought they did a great job. Now, the interesting thing with this is, and I will go ahead and say this, we haven't got to say this in a very long time on the channel. Spoiler alert. And it is because, so Superman and Lois season 4 is not even on HBO Max yet. Just, you can watch it on the CW app or, things like that. It did break an 85-year running theme in the Superman character that has never been done before. And I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you, Mantis, because I don't know that you're ever going to watch the show all the way through. It's going to be years before you get through 4 seasons of a show. At this
we'll
point.
have 3 other channels by then. This one will shut down. We've already started another one that one had shut down, and then the third one, that's when I would watch it. Yes.
And then you can blame me for that later, or we can just act like we've never seen it before and do a reaction to it and be like, "Oh my god, this is so cool! Never seen
That's
this."
popular.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
popular.
But that was that. So in the finale, Superman dies in that, and for good. Now, at the very beginning of the 4th season, they do the death kind of and return of Superman at the hands of Doomsday, because at the end of the 3rd season, he's fighting Doomsday. They do the death. He actually gets his heart replaced with General Lane's heart and all that. So he is slowly, over the course of what happens is, as he gets older, he slowly starts losing his powers, and he loses his powers, and he ends up dying, and he's dead for good that time, because they do kind of a flash forward into the future a little bit. So you see him actually die, and in all iterations of Superman, both comic book and everything, obviously in the comics, they never stay dead. They always bring the character back in some new series somewhere or another. So this is an 85-year thing, that if Superman has never died and stayed dead, for good, Superman and Lois did it, ending their run on the CW. It's a great show. Definitely go watch it. It is not like other CW superhero shows. However, this does conclude the CW. They are done with superheroes. That once the Arrowverse ended, once this show ended, they were not going to be doing superheroes anymore. And I, for one, am here for it, okay? Because you started out doing well and you just kept getting worse. Superman and Lois is the exception to that.
Yeah, the writers, again, this happened, I think, after. I mean, I'm not saying it went bad. There are bad episodes in every series, but I would say after the first season of Arrow is when things kind of went downhill on the CW side. They got real. I don't care if you guys hate me for this.
I like season 2 with Slade Wilson.
They got real woke. Let's just put it that way. Not specifically with Arrow. It definitely moved that direction, but in all of their series, all of their shows, like this is a studio hiring decision that they made. And it's why several of their shows are garbage throughout all of that.
Now, real quick, because I want to interrupt you because it's a funny point and I don't get to use it very often on this. If you remember, so Supergirl started out, she was not, in her first season, was not on the CW. Okay?
Right.
And Calista
Yeah.
Flockhart actually calls it out in the episode where
They do.
actually
Yeah.
the Flash from the CW goes over to her world. She said, all the four of you standing there, young, attractive, or she said, the four of you standing there, you look like the young
diverse.
attractive, racially diverse cast of a CW show.
All four of you standing there doing nothing. You look like the attractive yet non-threatening, racially diverse cast of a CW show.
And she was 100% spot on. So
She was.
even
That was
even
on
other,
ABC, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. So even other networks are already calling the CW out on it. So yeah,
They all eventually followed suit, to be fair. But
Well, yeah,
they did. They did call it out there. That's actually kind of funny.
so that's over.
But yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of where Superman and Lois kind of broke away from that nonsense. Thank God. I'm sure there's still, if I recall, there's still some things here and there, but it's not anywhere near to what they had on the CW starting out. So yeah, it's that's crazy that he ended up dying there. It's wild. I didn't think they'd do that, but hey, the first for that, I think, in a live action show, right? Like just ending it like that.
Oh, the Superman show?
Yeah.
Well, first, like I said, even in animated comics, he's never stayed dead. They always find out, they always bring him back. Now, to be fair, it's a TV show, so it's kind of like once you're canceled, right?
How's it going, Gossip Girls? CW just called you canceled.
So
Well,
it's
they
kind of like
they can do that, right?
Yeah, you could do that. A movie you just don't make anymore. He's died. Whereas comics and animated and things like that, it's like you just bring him back and you just do, oh, this happened, which leads us on to Absolute Superman. So for those of you who are comic book fans, I'm trying to get back into it. I used to have a lot of comics, and then I had things happen in my childhood. Fire destroyed everything, lost all my comics, all my collectibles and things when I was a kid. So I tried to get back into it, but where I'm at, the local comic book store, it's not like the one you see on The Big Bang Theory where everybody's just happy and keen to talk about comics, man. I go in there and I'm like, oh, do you have this new Superman? He's like, I don't know. Let me look. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to inconvenience you. I'm just trying to get the new Superman comic.
It's like, I thought I was at a comic book store. Maybe I'm at a Walmart instead. I don't know.
So they do have, because it's been a running with the Absolute Power series. So you have like Absolute Superpower, Absolute Superman, Absolute Origins. You have Absolute Power. So there's been and all this. So they are doing with Absolute Power. They have Absolute Power Superman or Absolute Superman.
Batman.
I don't want to say Absolute. Yeah, they have Absolute Batman, Absolute Green Lantern, Wonder Woman.
That was all debuted. Wasn't that all debuted during Comic-Con or around then?
I believe so. Don't quote me. Don't quote us, but I'm pretty sure it was.
I think they did. I remember seeing the new, because I look at the Batman symbol that they did, and it looks big and like fat and weird looking, and I'm like, what is this? I don't know how I feel about this. So
so Superman's suit actually kind of took on a new look to it as well too. So the suit, it helps recharge him now, and then the cape is more of like a nanotech-ish ash of former Krypton, the planet formerly known as Krypton. It's just it's kind of a mist type of.
Superman, you look a little ashy. Come from Ground Zero
So
Krypton.
some described it as nanotech, others have described it as the ash of his dead world Krypton. But it's definitely kind of cool to see that, because the funny thing they're saying is it's like it's more of like a CGI cape. When you think about, like, we've seen in the still images we have of the Superman movie, we see some of the action scenes where, you know, they don't have the capes on them. They end up CGing that in
Yeah.
later, just because a cape sometimes isn't going to do what you want it to do in this shot, right?
No.
So
No. So did I read that right in your notes that it's the suit is sentient AI? Is
Yes.
that right?
yes,
How do you feel about that? Because to me, that's an odd direction to go.
it depends on if Elon Musk made it, right? No, I'm just joking.
I mean,
we don't know. Like,
there's
is it when we say sentient AI? Does it have Alexa in it? Is that? Oh shit! I might have pissed her
Don't
off.
do that. Don't say it
She's
too
gonna-
loud.
She's
Yeah.
gonna start. This is gonna start yelling at me here in a second. Sorry. Or if it's got like Siri or something in it, like. But I kind of like would, because guys, I have like the Absolute Power series stuff. I don't have the Absolute Superman. I've been trying to get it. That's my little rant about the comic
rant.
book store.
Yeah.
So I haven't read that where it's talking about the suit yet, so I'm curious to know about it. So hey, if you guys want to comment down below, it's not going to be a spoiler for me, because I'm going to read it here eventually, and it's not going to be like, oh my god, that's going to be the thing to ruin it for me. But like, I
Don't
think
tell
it'd be
us
cool.
to go subscribe to their damn DC's damn subscription service to read all this online. Both me and Cal are in line with this. I don't, specifically with comic books, I want a physical copy. I don't want to read some computer screen comic book. I'm not all about that. So we appreciate if you mention that, but that's not an option we're looking at on trying to read the comics. So
Yeah, like
anyway.
I was trying to get, like, they have like get your monthly comic at the store there, and they never even offered it to me. He's like, fuck you. But like, if it's like the Jor-El voice, or like the AI assistant kind of thing, like you saw in Man of Steel, I think that'd be cool, right? You know, kind of helping them out. I don't know. So
I didn't think about that.
I'm waiting to see.
A Jor-El suit?
Yeah,
Like
a
a
Jor-El
Jor-El
suit.
dad suit? Yeah. I mean, it's essentially what, you know, not in the movies particularly. I don't think they technically go into that in the first movies, but they definitely do in the remakes of him, you know, being a copy, an AI of his father. It's in several series as well, so you know, that's not out of the realm, and maybe that's kind of where they got the idea as well. I just, when I saw sentient AI in his suit, I'm just like, what does that mean? Like, why does he need that? Like, but I guess we'll find out if we ever get to read the Absolute Superman comic. So
I'm looking for it. I'm probably end up just having to order it online, or I don't want to have to
eBay.
drive that far to another larger comic book store. I'm not going to do it yet. We'll get there. I've got enough other things on my plate, and such as the 2-hour movie I just watched the other day just came out to Max. Now, by the time this video releases, it'll probably be out for a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks or so. But the Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story. Now, a while back we did, and continuously, but we did a Superman episode where we had discussed that coming out. As being basically, because it did actually go to theaters for a few days at least, I think.
it did. It was in theaters a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know how many. I couldn't remember how many days. I knew it went to theaters. I didn't know if it was a short release. But it was the whole story. Hi, Thor. He wants to hear about the Christopher Reeve
He
story.
really does. He does.
I know how he felt about him. That's his Superman too. But it's a documentary about Christopher Reeve and what he went through from becoming the character to everything that happened all the way up to his death. it's an amazing. It is very heart wrenching, and there are some very very sad moments in there. But it just came out, so you can watch it for free on HBO Max. I definitely recommend if you haven't check that out, because it
That
is
must have
also
came
very
out real
very good.
recently. Like
Uh,
that must have been real recently, right? Like within the last week or so.
I feel like, and again, don't quote me, I feel like that may have been Monday because like I just clicked on HBO Max and I was looking up some stuff for like on Creature Commandos, and all of a sudden it was on there, and I saw, and it was like number 2 already in the country on
Mm.
HBO Max. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna watch it because I did not go and see it in theaters. Uh, I'm glad I didn't
Right.
too, man, because it was real sad. I almost got teary eyed there for. I was like, I'm glad I didn't go see this in theaters. I had to
That'd
be
have been
wearing these out in a
awkward.
dark theater and looking like a fucking creeper.
Yeah.
It's already bad enough having them on in here. So, but I definitely recommend going and checking that out for those. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I love Tyler Hoechlin. I think that was how you say his name. We learned these names,
I
um,
know.
and then I forget them. I've loved a lot of the Supermans, but Christopher Reeve is always going to be my Superman. And and watching that documentary and everything that happened, like I remember, uh, even on Lois and Clark, they did a whole special thing where you could get the dog tags with the S on them, and it went to support the Christopher Reeve Foundation. They started. He's giving you a massage.
This is what I have to deal with, guys. When we're recording, this is the stuff I have to deal with. Like,
I don't think there's gonna be too many people that be like, "Oh, your life is so tragic. You got a beautiful husky there hanging on you."
yeah, he's the
Then he wants to be in the shot.
he he does. I told him that this was a DC video and not Marvel, but what are you gonna
He's
do?
wanting to bring a little crossover.
Little
in there.
crossover. Yeah.
So for those of you who feel like I do, yeah, he was my Superman. Will always be. I'm not saying anybody can't do a great job and be amazing in the role, but Christopher Reeve is always going to be my Superman. And just like somebody had said, that was more fan of Man of Steel one time on there about how, oh, comics change and you're dated, you're going 40, 50 years ago. Well, yeah, that's what I grew up with. So that's what I gravitate to. You're allowed to gravitate to whatever
Yeah.
you want to. I'm going to stick with what I love. And
Yeah, that's the thing about art, and I mean, this is technically art, but I mean, it's whether it's paintings, whether it's music, it's what you grow up around, what you're exposed to, that you tend to gravitate towards. So,
And you don't want us exposing ourselves.
to me, completely makes sense. Now, some people discover older art, older videos, older movies, older music, and they tend to like that more than the newer stuff.
The problem with
So,
superhero movies is like artistic films and things are great to watch classics and watch old stuff. Whereas superhero movies and things, they get very dated very quickly based on their CG. It's kind of like watching the Hulk. If you watch the 2003 Hulk, you're like, this was amazing. He looks so real. And then you kind of like, well, he kind of looks more cartoonish if you compare it to some of the CG now. It gets dated very very quickly when you're dealing with superheroes on TV or movie. I mean, fuck, even watch Smallville, man. That computer he had in the opening scene on the very
Oh,
first
yeah.
episode, you're like, holy
Yeah.
shit, I almost forgot how big those computers used to be. So,
Yep.
but guys,
Oh yeah.
if you are fans of Superman, and I gotta think if you're watching a channel called You, Me, and DC, you are,
You should be.
regardless of who is your Superman, I would definitely say go check that out. It's a very very amazing story, and to see some of these other actors like Robin Williams in there and how close they were, I learned a lot of information I didn't even know on them. So definitely go check that out.
To do that, yeah. Documentaries. Who
Yeah.
knew?
Right, but I will warn you though, it is literally like an hour and 50 something minutes long. It is almost
It's
2
a long
hours.
one. Yeah.
So, but good. I think that's going to wrap it for the Superman news. We covered a little bit of everything in the world of Superman.
I don't. Other thing, I didn't know if you were going to that tweet. Are you going to put that tweet on the video, like as a screenshot
Yeah.
that you have in the notes? Yeah, I just wanted to point out that they did debut the new symbol as well that's included on there. And they did what is it called, like the title front card that they show. They tweeted out a picture of that. It's the same symbol, just says Superman underneath it with the font. So just FYI there. Yeah, it looks vibrant. It looks glorious. I like it.
He's glorious.
Yeah,
I do too. I'm excited for it, and whenever the trailer drops, we will be there to discuss it in more short form than our previous trailers.
Yes.
All right, guys. To keep this video under a half hour, if you have made it with us this far, we definitely appreciate it. Consider giving this video a like. I'm just going to show you where. And Thor will come visit you if you do. Subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on all of the Superman, DC, and we do Marvel as well if you're not super familiar with the channel. And click the little bell and all that stuff that they make you do just so you get notified when our videos drop and all that. We are kind of going back to maybe 1 to 2 videos a week. I feel like 3 might have been overwhelming some people, but let us know down in the comments. And let us know how you feel about any of the particular subjects, or if you want to go over all of the subjects we discussed here, whether it be live action, movie, comic. If you've read the Absolute Superman, I've got the absolute powers and things like that. I don't have Absolute Superman yet. And as soon as I do, I will let you guys know it in a next Superman related video. Well, I might even do it in a random video. Just be, hey, it's here.
It's here. It's good, or it's bad, or whatever.
What the fuck is this guy talking about? Like we're talking about Marvel. It's what we do here.
It's here.
All right, Mantis, do you have anything else?
No. Other than keep an eye on Creature Commandos is out now, so start watching that if you haven't. We're probably not going to do a video, at least for a little bit, on that. In fact, the way it's moving, because we discussed this, we may just not do one until the series is completely done, because it's been 2 episodes and really nothing has happened so far of note, except for a bunch of fucking and, which, I just don't, not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying I don't know why it's in a animated superhero show, but whatever. Check that out because it's on Max as well. And while you're there, go ahead and watch Super/Man like we just talked about, because it's on there too. So, yeah.
All right, public service announcement. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it for us here on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, we will see you then.
Later.